Hello and welcome to another brand new episode for Extra Time for In Scout Network, presented by me, Redcar Athletic, and I'm very excited about this episode today because we've got Adam Boyes joining us, and obviously I know you very well, Adam, from your time at Marske. Just saying, long time no speak, but how's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's all good, mate. Yeah, on the football front and the life front. So yeah, everything's going really well at the minute.
It's great to hear you, and I'm sure we'll talk about your time at Redcar Athletic now later on. But very excited to talk about your journey within football because I've just been saying before we got started, this podcast it's kind of there to tell all kinds of different stories within the football game and show that everybody's journey is different. So very excited to talk about yours because it's a very exciting one. But the first place we start with every guest is just kind of going back to when they were younger and just asking what was life like growing up and where did the football love kind of start?
Well, I used to play for my local team, Lindale Athletic. Was my dad was manager. To be fair, for what the area, we were only a small village, but we were always in like the top league of the TGFA, competing with a lot of like your Martins and I don't think Borough Rangers and that were around then, but it was good. And then obviously I got a trial at York City, and then I signed at York as I think it was under 13, I think, and I was there. Obviously, went there, did my youth team scheme, and obviously broke through to the first team. That's how it all started, really. York City.
Who were some of your heroes when you were younger and watching football?
Well, I was a Borough fan. It was like obviously like your Janinios and but like even though Alan Shearer was a Newcastle player, so
Yeah.
Shearer forward, I looked at like Michael Lloyd and people like that. That type of striker, really.
Did you always have that ambition to be a striker then, especially saying like your heroes were like people like Shearer and Owen?
Well, when I was younger, I did play centre midfield for a little bit when I was like maybe just 12, 13. And then obviously I moved up higher up the pitch. But yeah, I just obviously always liked scoring goals. So I tried to keep that part of my.
I guess it worked out well, and if you moved up to that position where you've been very successful. But yeah, going back to what you said there about York City, so it all started there. So quite a good level to begin with, really.
Yeah, so I think it'll have been like the old Division Two, like League Two, when I was there as a youth team scholar. And then I think they had financial trouble, and I think that's how I got my chance because I was only like 17 when I started playing for the first team. I think they'd been relegated to the conference, and I started playing regular in the conference, and then obviously we just went from there really.
How long did you spend at York then? Because I believe you had a trial at, well, I know you had a trial at Manchester United as well later on down the line after spending a bit more time at York.
Yeah, I think it was from like under 13s. I think I left when I was maybe 17 or 18. I think I was only like I think I played at I think the FA Trophy at Wembley, and then after that, that's when obviously I had the trial at Man United and Cardiff City, and then I think I signed for I think it was Barrow after that, if I'm right. And obviously they were in the conference, so that was a big difference. Oh no, Scunthorpe wasn't it Scunthorpe? Sorry, so I signed for Scunthorpe. I think I signed a 3-year deal there, and they were in the Championship at the time. But the man who signed me, Nigel Atkins, was a lovely, lovely bloke, and I think he just as I signed a few months later, he got the job at Southampton, which is obviously a miles bigger club, and he took all his staff, which and it just didn't work at Scunthorpe, which is one of them things, like you say, it was a setback that maybe I needed. I'd moved away from home at 17 on my own. I was living in a flat. It was difficult, but it was achievable. And then obviously I left there and went to Barrow from there after like a year and a half. So I was only at Scunthorpe for a year and a half, but I think I only featured like in the like, League Cup game or whatever. I didn't play any games in the Championship. I think I was on the bench a few times, but it was difficult. Obviously, it was a big step up, and Scunthorpe were only a tiny club compared to like I think it was like Newcastle were in the league and Middlesbrough, and there were some massive, massive clubs in the league at the time. And Scunthorpe was a tiny little 3,000-4,000 like stadium compared to the big clubs that were in it.
So, how was that for your experience then, Adam? Obviously, having a trial at Manchester United, then Cardiff City, and then being at Scunthorpe before signing for Barrow in the Conference League because everybody's journey is different. That's something we've touched upon a lot, but we've spoken about how it potentially affects players a lot too, and what the mindset's like after having a few big opportunities and not quite potentially making it.
Yeah, well, when I signed for Scunthorpe, I wasn't really keen on going, and I think at the time York were really, really financially struggling, and I think Scunthorpe put a bid. I think it was £150,000, which at the time was a lot of money for York, and I wasn't really keen on going, but I wasn't. I wouldn't say I was forced, but they were pushing for me to go just for that money to come in. Um, and then obviously it was a big setback when I was at Scunthorpe because I wanted it to work and it didn't work, and it did knock me down a little bit. But thankfully, I got the opportunity to go to Barrow, and I did okay at Barrow. To be fair, I scored quite a few goals, and yeah, it was like a little bit of a pick me up going there. It was different. Obviously, I lived away again. We lived in Salford, trained in Manchester every day, so it's full time. So I was living away from home with two lads from up north. So it was good. It was a good experience doing that. But like I say, it was a setback leaving Scunthorpe because at the time you think, oh, I've signed for a championship club, I've made it, and then all of a sudden someone says you don't want you. You're like, oh, where do I go from here? It was obviously what we're talking about on here. But yeah, I managed to bounce back like a lot of people will do. But it is hard. I agree.
It's encouraging that as well. I think, and having somebody like yourself on this podcast, it was one of the reasons I really wanted to get you on so much because you've got the perfect story to tell people about when it comes to not making it at the biggest level, like a Manchester United level, but still having a successful and enjoyable career within the lower leagues and in non-league. Because it's sometimes I've said this to a few people. I think it sometimes gets frowned upon when you kind of think of a successful career. And I mean, everybody as a kid that likes football obviously dreams of playing for one of the top clubs in the Premier League, but it's not necessarily to say that that's the only way you can be successful within the game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's you say everyone wants to play at the top, but it's very rare that anyone does it. Especially these days, it's even more difficult now with the money thrown around, where you can go and buy some for £10 million from another country. I think it's even harder now than when I was young. That I think a lot more younger players got chances, um, maybe 10, 15 years ago than they do now. I think you have to be really, really good now to make it at the top level. Obviously, you can see the ones that do make it, like for example, like Phil Foden and like that level. But it's quite rare that players come through now, and I think we need to get that back into the game. Really, I know there's a lads that don't make it, and you see lads that leave Middlesbrough, and then you see them like a year later in the Northern League, and it's disappointing. Like for them to drop that many levels. I know that there's not really much you can do, but I think that's once you go down and down, it's difficult to get yourself back out and back into full time football. I think something needs to be there for that situation to help people, especially when they leave like big full time clubs when they just feel they've got nothing really.
I think yeah, it's a big thing. It's something that probably does need tackling, like you say, because there's it like you say, everybody's different. People will take it in different ways. There'll be people that think, right, I still want to do something good for myself in the non-league game, but then there'll be other people that kind of think the opposite and think, well, I've sacrificed so much and given everything to be at this top level, and that's when it kind of knocks it out of them really, and then it just kind of declines from there on, and they don't really get back involved with football.
Yeah, I think people's lifestyles change and stuff, especially if say you're like Middlesbrough and you get knocked down a few levels. I think you think, oh, that's it now. You're not going to be that footballer anymore. And I think it's hard to get back into the rhythm again. I've played with lads who've been at Middlesbrough and I've just seen him drop and like you try, like, give him a shake, saying, "Come on, like he's come from Middlesbrough. He's going out drinking and stuff like that." It's a shame when you see it happen, but I think we just need to try and find a way to support that type of situation.
But for yourself as well, you managed to really get back on track, and I'd say to be honest, you're probably one of the best examples of a successful career within non-league, and I'm sure we'll come to some of them moments soon. But how did it kind of pan out after Barrow then, Adam? Because I believe as your non-league career progressed, you gradually. I know you played for a few teams within and around Yorkshire, and then eventually made your way back up to the northeast, which is where you're from.
Yeah, I think signed for Gateshead after Barrow, but like I say, that was another setback. I went there, and again within about two, I think it was 4 games into the season, the man who signed me just come into the change room after a game and said, "I've had enough. I've left." So that was another setback because another manager came in and he had his own ideas, and then I ended up going out on loan to Guiseley. And to be fair, Guiseley was a real high point for me. The manager straight away, I got on really well in managing. I played under him again at Bradford Park Avenue. Mark Bauer was a great bloke, and Danny Bosher, the assistant. I've got a lot of time for both, and I still speak to them now. But yeah, I think that was another setback that a lot of people might not have been able to handle. But and that was when I dropped down from full time football to part time for the first time, which was a big difference because obviously then I had to get a job. I was working like in PE as a PE teacher, but that was like another massive change in my life, football wise and obviously life wise.
It's it's one of them things as well. Touching upon what you said about going to Gates and then the manager saying he's had enough. Sometimes it's a case of sometimes it can't be helped as well, can it? Sometimes that's just life and that's just football. Things potentially get in the way and don't go the way that you'd want them to, but you can't necessarily help them if it's something with somebody else. It just that can just be life and football, I guess, really.
Yeah, like I say, I think football is luck. Like you've have the right man there at the time when if he likes you, then you've got the chance. But it only takes a person who everyone has their own ideas in football. So there might be a manager that plays a different style and they don't like the style you have, which is it's like you've got to take it on the chin really, because obviously every manager wants different things. But yeah,
It's yeah, it's a big thing. Different managers, different preferences. It's all of that comes into account. But yeah, obviously you enjoyed a successful spell at Guiseley then, and tell me a little bit about making your way back up to pretty much home really to when you signed for Marske United, which is where myself and Jamie, co-founder of InScout, both know you very well from.
yeah. So it's I think it was just random. Really. I think Dave McTiernan somehow got my number, and I spoke to him, and the plans seemed brilliant. And I spoke to Carl Jarrett, and obviously Carl's a great bloke. He's one of the best man managers I've ever played under. He knows how to manage the team, and just the way they spoke about Mask and what the plans were, I instantly wanted to sign after one call, which was I've never been at with a club before where after one 10-minute conversation, I was basically saying, yeah, I'm coming to sign, which is brilliant, really.
It was a special time, wasn't it? And when you joined, and there was like just that excitement building around the club, wasn't there? At that point, there was Matty Timon was another player that came in at the same time as you, and there was something big building at that point. I remember because that's when I first started following the club as well. It was during COVID when kind of all of the professional football wasn't going on, and that's when I got down to the match games and stuff. And it was a special time. But obviously it was a rough couple of first years, wasn't it? Playing seasons that were getting curtailed due to COVID and stuff. But once it eventually got going again, once we came out the end of all of that 21-22 season, I think probably arguably one of the most special seasons ever in your career.
Yeah, definitely. It was all the goals I scored. Yeah, it was just one of them seasons where just the confidence was that high. I just felt like every game I was going to score one or two goals, and that was I was thankful of obviously the players that around me because I had some great players supplying with chances and whatever. And that mass team we had there was at the time it was just one of them teams where everyone was in the prime at the same time. I think that's the best way to describe it. And it just
Yeah.
we had a good manager, and obviously once the fans get on board, it was just felt like we could beat anyone really in any league. Obviously, you've seen that with the cup run we had, where we obviously beat Chester and we were unlucky against Gates. And I just felt like we could go out and beat anyone really.
Well, that was it, and it was like when we came up against somebody a couple of leagues higher, you weren't fearing because you just knew. that this team could give anybody a game, and that cup run ended up in heartbreak. When we went to Gateshead and got beat after drawing 0-0 at home, but it was still an amazing run. And what one thing that yourself might still do this, and I know I do occasionally laugh with people about that team coach that went down to Chester on that Tuesday night.
Yeah, I remember. I think Wardy booked it. And I remember it was leaking. We had no leg room. We were all sat in a minibus. I think we had 12 or 13 players. Yeah, it was a mad game. And then I think we turned up about 15, 20 minutes before the game, and they were like,
Yeah.
Esther were like, "Who are these here rocking up like this?" And to beat on it was unbelievable.
It's probably one of the best footballing nights I've had because it was just I remember there was like a leak in the roof as well or something and there was water just dripping through and then it was like what is this, and then like you said about 15 minutes before kickoff that was when the coach turned up, and then to turn them over 4-0 it was just a special night really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, I'd like to say that bus was. That's the thing you remember the most, even though we won 4-0. I think there's just a bus journey down. I remember stood under a big tree at the Bluebell. It was pouring down. I was thinking all the way down to Wales. Night. We're like 12 men, and obviously they were mad. We weren't expecting. Obviously, you go there a little bit confident because I thought we did all right against them in the first game, and then you just don't expect to go and win like that. We thought we might give them a game, and I think did we go down to 10 men that game? So I think Lebo got sent off to me for wasting
Yeah,
time.
we did, yeah.
Harder, but yeah, somehow we.
I think we all had a bit of doubt, didn't we? Like you say, we didn't really want to admit to it, but it was just the factors being away, it being Chester, a couple of leagues above, Tuesday night, everybody's at work,
Yeah,
all of them contributing factors. But no, what a special night, and it was just many moments I imagine for you in that season that was so good. We can talk about the FA Cup as well because you won the Golden Ball at Wembley, got to walk out with the ball, and I believe you got presented with the trophy by Ian Rush.
yeah, I did. Yeah, that was a brilliant day. That me and my dad, my brother-in-law, my little nephew went down. Just got looked after really well, and obviously got the trophy with Ian Rush presented before the game. Obviously, walked the ball out for the final, which is to achieve something like that when there's millions and millions of people who would love to be in that positions. That's one of my best achievements in football, I would say. To score 11 goals in the cup run as well, which is very good. I know I think I scored 5 in one game actually, but yeah, it was fantastic. Like I say, and I owe it to all the lads that played with, and obviously Carl and that. But as a personal achievement, that was definitely up there with one of my best.
I was going to ask, how do you kind of reflect on that? I think you've answered it perfectly when you said there's a lot of people that would do anything to be in that position as a footballer, even people in the football league, even. And like, I bet for you to achieve that for playing for Maskin, just what really Mask is a tiny fishing village, to achieve that playing for a club in a village with this population and everything like that, like the people living here. I bet it just felt incredible.
Yeah, it was like I say, it was to get Mask on the map as well. A lot of people didn't know Mask were, and obviously Mask United was branded all over. I did a lot of different interviews with different companies and whatever. Just like people were saying, "Oh, where's Mask?" And I had to keep explaining where it was, but it was just nice to get them
Yeah,
like, highlighted where Mask is as well. Because no one knew where Mask was. We're like, "Oh, where's Mask?" And then he'd say it's near somewhere, and they'd be like, "Oh, where's that?" And I was like, near between Whitby and Middlesbrough. Like, oh yeah, I know where that is. I think that's the way I used to describe it, but yeah, it was good to um, definitely do that at Wembley. It was one of the best times of my career. Yeah,
it was such a special moment. I can imagine, and just going along with that season too, the promotion as well. It was just so good because we had that cup run, that promotion, and we ended up in the playoffs, didn't we? But we ended up beating Stockton in the final, which I think kind of made up for not going up automatically. Do you remember that one well?
yeah. Like I say, I know it shouldn't, but I think the playoffs is when you win it. The playoffs is very like it's
Yeah.
better than winning a league. To be fair, especially against obviously one of your rivals who a lot of lads know their lads, and it was one of them where I don't know, it could have gone either way. To be fair, I think they hit the post in the. I think the centre half hit the post with a header, and then obviously we scored them unbelievable goals. But yeah, I think if you go up in the playoffs, it's good, but obviously it's heartache if you don't. And I think us, and I think it was Liversedge, wasn't it? I think we were miles clear of everyone else, and they were quite a strong team as well. But I think the best way to go is definitely the playoffs if you can.
It's one of them, isn't it? If you can go up out the playoffs, then it's the perfect way to do it, like you say, because it's like when you get it done against your rivals as well, it feels amazing, and it was just a special season, and I imagine one that will always be held in high regard for you, that 21-22 year at Marske.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, it's one of my favourite seasons. I think that just the group of lads were brilliant. Everyone got on so well. It was such a close knit group, and well, doing with Carl and Maka and Parky, like such a feel good every game. Like I say, every game you were turning up thinking you were going to win, and training was enjoyable. It was just one of them seasons where everything just seemed to work. Which is credit to everyone, the club, Carl, everyone really. So yeah, it was one of my favourite seasons, definitely.
It was such a special group, and a lot of memories that a lot of us will remember for a while. But you were one of the players from that group that did stay the longest. Some more rockier patches with the club when there was more struggles and everything, and we all know what happened when the club sadly went bust in 2023, which was a real shame for everybody involved. It was a hard time. Of course, the club's picked itself up since then, which has been amazing to see. But after leaving Marske, after that, you did move to Redcar Athletic, and you've enjoyed the promotion recently there as well this year. So how's time been there so far? And it's currently going really well in the new league as well, I believe.
Yeah, obviously we did really well last year, and I think we signed some good players again this year who've played in this level before. And like I say, it's quite a similar feel to Mask. The lads all get along really well, and it's like quite. There's a few lads who obviously me, Curtis, Sparky, lads who are Kev. So there's a few Mask lads, and obviously Carl and that are Mask. So it's got the older lads, and we've got a lot of youngish lads now. So we've got a mixture of old and young, and I think that's going to help us as the season goes along, really.
I bet the ambitions are big for the rest of the season at Redcar, and especially given that group. I mean, the lads you named there, I remember them from know them from my time doing media work at Mask, and it's a talented group for that level because that group of players were still playing above that when Mask got promoted.
Yeah, like I say, from the start of the season, Carl, you know how competitive Carl is. Carl's like, we're not here to make the numbers up. We're here to win this league, and he said that from the first day of pre-season. We're not here to make the numbers up. And you know, if you lose a game to Carl, you know he's not going to be happy. And I think we lost. We lost to get someone a few weeks ago, 2-0 at home. We should have won, and he was on holiday, but he didn't have to give us a bit of stick when he got home. But like I say, we've bounced back since then, and we've got no game tomorrow, and then I think we've got Bishop Auckland Tuesday, which will be a tough game away. I know they're not doing great at the minute, but they've got a lot of players who have connections with ours, and we've got a lot of their old players, so it'll be a tough game. But I'm just going to try and keep up to the top league really, and keep getting the points on the board.
Well, hopefully we'll see that for the rest of the season. I'll be checking the scores and wishing you all the best, and hopefully you can get that next promotion. But it's if I ask you kind of in a nutshell, Adam, about the highlights of your career within the non-league game, like I said earlier, I think you've probably had one of the best careers from a non-league player I can think of. What would you say some of the standout highlights are?
Um, Obviously, we discussed the Golden Ball winning, but I think obviously playing for the England conference team was another massive highlight for me.
Box, yeah,
Yeah,
representing the country.
to play for your country 3 times. I know it's only at like a conference level, but the way it was like getting looked after like the proper England team. I think I went to Malta, played against Malta. Then we played Gibraltar, who was now Gibraltar's first team. I know they didn't exist then in that style of football, but I think I played against Italy at Fleetwood, which to represent your country 3 times is a massive honour to me as an England fan, and that's definitely up there as well. Obviously, then I'm trying to think what else. Playing at Wembley in the FA Trophy when I was only 17 against Stevenage. That was another one. I think we got beat 2-0 that game, but they were a really strong side, and that was to play at Wembley in front. I think there was like 35,000 people there, which is massive. And to play at Wembley is a massive achievement as well for me.
It just goes to show, doesn't it, that you can still achieve amazing things from not playing at the top level. And I hope your story will inspire some people that are listening to that, potentially people that have had setbacks at the top and have dropped down a bit, and it can show them that you can still be very successful from having a career within non-league.
Yeah, like I say, mate, all about opinions, football, and it only takes you to be in the right place at the right time, and that manager likes you, and that could be the switch that gets your career back on track or gets you going again. And that's always been the case for me. Luckily, I've always played under managers who now know will get the best out of me, and that's the case now with Carl because he knows how I play, and I know how he deals with me. So that's I think having a good relationship with the manager and coaching staff is massive as a footballer at any level, really.
It's a huge thing, like you say, and that's all part of the game. And it's been great chatting to you again, Adam, and hearing your story. It's always one I enjoy hearing. So thank you for joining us again.
Yeah.
And the way we always wrap this up is it's our kind of signature question. We ask each guest if they could give themselves a piece of advice now, to their teenage self, knowing what they know now to what they didn't know then. What would it be?
I'd say never give up and don't go down the wrong path. And there's always hope on the other side. Like say, if you get them setbacks, it's not over. Like I say, I'm still playing at 34 year old now, and I feel as good as ever. So there's always time for you to find that place and get yourself back on the right track. Really.
I think that's a wise piece of advice, and certainly one that's really relatable, and hopefully a lot of people will take your episode and be inspired by it. But Adam, a pleasure chatting with you again, mate, having you on, and thanks so much for joining us.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.